The population of Gaza is 1.8 million. Of that, 1.1 million are children. And there's something like over 4,000 dead, and of course that number is increasing in the last 9 years since 2005. From August, or on August the 4th, a couple of days ago, there were 408 Palestinian children who have been killed, and that's 31% of all the casualties in the present onslaught that Israeli troops have and the Israeli government have thrown on the Palestinian people. 70% of the 251 boys and 157 girls were under 12 years of age. To put that in further context, I mean, 1.8 million isn't much bigger than the population we have in the north. But Gaza is the size of the smallest county in Ireland. It's the same size as County Louth. So when you hear them on the media, you know, saying that warnings were given and that they could shift from one place to another, that there was going to be bombs raining down, just think of that population in that small area. Think of it in terms of it's one of the most densely populated areas at the moment in the world. There really is nowhere to run. And who couldn't be touched by a single photograph or looking at Twitter or seeing the TV reports? It must be actually breaking people that they're seeing so much of it. And that's only us as observers looking in. Think of what it's like if you're Palestinian. The mural is about the Gaza beach deaths, which everybody, I think, is now talking about. It happened on Wednesday, July the 16th. And the first missile that came in, Gaza's a small harbour, the first missile that came in hit the wall of the harbour. And then, as you could have seen this, as the smoke cleared, you saw the 4 young people. And there were journalists watching this, actually not too far away from it. And they witnessed as the smoke cleared, the 4 young lads, and they were playing football on the beach. And they were running, and because they had survived it and they were running away from it, the actual second missile had been redirected to follow the survivors. It was specifically there to get fleeing survivors, and within a period of 40 seconds, you went from kids, and you know, we would see this in our own area, playing football in the street. In their case, it was playing on the beach, till 4 children dead. And Ardoyne, you know, is no stranger to death and the death of children. But one of the things that struck me about it, and I might pronounce these wrong, but I sort of wanted to do it because I always remember about reports during the conflict. You get all sorts of details about, you know, maybe British soldiers and that were killed, but when it came to nationalists being killed and civilians being killed, it was always a statistic. And you didn't really get the names of people. But 2 of the young, and they were from between the ages of 7 and 11, and 2 of them were called Mohammed, and one of them was called Zakaria, and the youngest was called Ahad. And they were all from one family. They were cousins, but they were all from one family, which was the Bakr family. And I do think it's worth naming the victims, of which there are many, and we only have four here tonight. They make it real. They understand that that could have been, you know, your son or your cousin or your nephew. And you know, at this stage, because we are talking about football, I want to thank the lads from Cliftonville and from our other Gaelic and soccer footballers in the audience here. And you know, we hold that close to our hearts, and you know, young people hold it close to our hearts. It's such an ordinary thing to do, and of course here, such a hard thing to even fight for, to get the facilities to do that. So it struck me that these young lads had that special. So I want to thank all those, but especially our sporting colleagues and comrades who came along.